They said there were no more forms of adventurers' vehicles, but I can milk this series with one more form of transportation, which is that of primitive non-motorized vehicles. First up, looks like LEGO was attempting to make a wheelbarrow with as many pieces as possible, and they still missed the mark. Hashtag Design Team B.
But that's not a vehicle!
I hear you say. And yes, for this list I have chosen to use the term vehicle not only very loosely, but also very incorrectly. That being said, when I was younger, my brothers and I had a wagon that we would flip the handle backwards so you could coast down a hill and steer as if you were driving or racing your own car. So my point is, anything can be a vehicle if you use your imagination. Fortunately, this mummy doesn't even need a real vehicle, or even a red rocket wheelbarrow. He clearly is still limber enough to do his own walking with not only unwrapped legs, but a full set of toes that would make Quentin Tarantino proud. Wheelbarrow attempt number 2. Yeah, this thing is a whole lot of number 2. Like many smaller sets in this era, the buyer would find more contentment in getting some of the specific pieces rather than the overall fun play set. A Johnny Fig, some binocs, a sextant, a crate, a baby T-Rex, and any adventurer set would be remiss without a firearm, so they included a whole rifle to coax that little infant dino into the wheelbarrow box thing. Go on, mate, into the box. Next is our first organic mode of transportation from Scorpion Palace on the back of an elephant. Not too much going on, just a nicely shaded saddle with some storage on the sides and a ruby sitting in front of the rider for them to hypnotically stare at while they're traveling to their next adventure.
Wait a minute!
I hear you yell.
That set had the lighter shade elephant and this one is the darker one!
You contend. And how very astute of you, I answer. But of course I have the correct shade, and it's right here. For any of our newer or younger LEGO maniacs, this elephant may not look familiar. LEGO has recently put out a new elephant piece, and I must say it's much more calm and realistic than the panicking look of the original one. New one? Aw, elephant. Old one?
I need a peanut right now or I will seriously lose it!
Sliding in next is the Doctor's Sled. A great idea as long as he has to go downhill on snow. But without a motor I couldn't include this. Oh, look at that. But without a motor, I couldn't include this on the ground vehicles list, so hopefully the professor finds some dogs and ropes when he reaches the bottom of the hill so he isn't trapped there. That line doesn't really work now since I see it's supposed to have a motor, but I still wanted to make a dog sled. Rising up to second place is the hot air balloon from Pharaoh's Forbidden Ruins. After the adventurers learned what kind of vehicles they were up against, Johnny and the team swapped a traditional hot air balloon basket out with armored castle walls. Will it ever get off the ground? No. Will it provide cover against the enemies and their weaponry? No. In a sub-theme involving travel mostly by cars and biplanes, it was really cool to switch it up and get a truck and a hot air balloon in the largest set. I remember seeing pictures of this financially unattainable set in catalogs when I was a wee lad, and the truck and balloon made the set especially stand out. The latter was also a great starting point for what became the Aero Nomad in the Orient Expedition theme. I wanted to include an honorable mention for the Golden Dragon. I searched far and wide but couldn't find any pictures of it being ridden. But it's gotta be the mode of transportation for the Dragon Fortress Guardian. It's such a cool figure set, especially with the amazing unique molds for the head and tail on the dragon, in addition to the special print on the black dragon body. 6 years prior we had seen this pair in their goth phase, and now they've moved on to their inevitable weeaboo phase. And already we're at number 1, which goes to the Elephant Caravan, the fully upgraded luxury version of the previous elephant ride. In this particular set, we have Pip and Reed being escorted by Babu, the elephant torturer. Just kidding. How could an elephant be tortured if it's already dead?
Look at those lifeless eyes, they're horrifying!
No, just kidding again. Because how could an elephant be dead if it's mid-sneeze? Like, is there anything else that ridiculous trunk could be doing? It looks like it's trying to slither away from the elephant's head. This set is a great complement to the other sets in the Orient Expedition theme, plus the cocaine elephant is fun to have. As an aside, I noticed while assembling these sets the lack of bad guys. They knew better than to have sleds and wheelbarrows in the middle of nowhere. But speaking of bad guys, during the curation for all of these videos, I noticed in the character page in LEGO Mania magazine, they specify characters as bad or adventurer. They know there's no good here. In fact, one could argue that they are all bad, and this is how. The keeper of the treasure isn't identified with either group on the character page, which leaves its affiliation ambiguous, whether good, bad, or neither. Then we've seen an old commercial that said treasure keepers would be grouped in with the bad guys.
Evil villains everywhere.
And we've seen another commercial that Johnny himself is in cahoots with them, suggesting that they are all in some kind of mafia crime syndicate, and Johnny and the Baron are just trying to show each other up in front of their boss by completing quests for the criminal leader.
That's remarkable. And completely wrong.
Well, it's the end of the video, and I'd rather steal someone else's outro than write my own. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
The new LEGO Adventurers Collection. Each set sold separately.